What up, Wolfpack? It's your boy Amari, back again with another reaction video. Today we are getting into part 2 of my 3-part Dimple and Pied Piper trilogy. Today we're going to be reacting to the Pied Piper song. If you haven't seen my reaction to Dimple, go watch it. It's fantastic. It also gives background on how we got here and also will explain why I have heard part of this song before. Go watch that, then come back, and then come back on Wednesday when I release the 3rd part of this to complete the trilogy, which is my reaction to the live of both this and Dimple together, because that's all you guys have been talking about, and the body rolls. But in the meantime, we're going to get into this Pied Piper reaction. I'm super excited because the snippet of this song that I heard was fantastic. Like, it was so good that I decided to do this whole trilogy of videos. So I'm not going to take too much more time. Definitely make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share so you don't miss content like this, and I'll see all you guys on the other side. Peace. So this song is really interesting in that that melody that you hear in the chorus repeats through the majority of the song, at least the majority of the song that I heard in the BTS live room bit. And their songs don't tend to do that. That's more of a Western thing where they have the melody looped, whether it be a 4-bar or 8-bar melody of music looped throughout the course of the song. It's a big thing in hip-hop. It makes the song uber catchy because you hear that little piece of music over and over and over. By the time you finish the song, you might have heard that piece of music 50, 70, 100 times, I don't know. So it sticks with you. So even during this part of the song where a lot of the production is stripped back as far as like actual instruments, there are still pads and little like ear candy stuff going off, but the lead melody of that repeating part that I'm just going to say is in the intro because that's the easiest way to let you know what I'm talking about, is still there, but it gets pushed back in the mix to make room for the boys, because in this song there are a lot of vocal stacks. So during this section it's very apparent because there are less instruments being played, but it happens, like it happened during JK section, during RM section so far. If I'm remembering correctly, it continues to happen throughout the song where there are just a bunch of different versions of a line being sung, and it creates this choral effect or choral, right? A choir-esque effect. There we go. And so you have versions of V singing that are panned in different ways, tuned in different ways, have different effects on them. Some of them are distorted, and they're just ran through all these different effects and panned in all these different ways that it makes the given line or section beefier and fuller, and it just creates a thickness in the delivery of that particular line. And I find that very interesting. But even in doing that and making space for that, they don't remove that looped melody, they just push it towards the back in the mix. So subconsciously you're still hearing it, even if you're not consciously thinking, oh wow, this is repeating throughout the entirety of the song. I love the line distribution in this song so far. Like the way that they have divvied this up, it's really good. This section with the vocal line where they alternate back and forth between Jin and V, Jin and V, Jin and V, and then they switch to Jimin and JK. I just like that. I like the pairing. I like when they pair V's voice with either Jimin or Jin, just because there's like a big dichotomy between the light and dark of his voice and their voices. And then going back and forth in the line gives you like different flavors to the sections. And so anytime they do that in songs, I'm always a big fan of that. Also in these sections, it's very interesting that not only are certain parts of the section stacked where there are multiple versions of the singer singing, some higher, some lower, so on and so forth. There are also a lot of ad-libs in between the sections that the singer is singing, and most of them are done by the singer who is singing, and so it creates a continuation of the vocal melody even through the off parts. The ad-libs are not as high or present as the lead section of what they're singing, but they're definitely there and they can be felt. And so it's an interesting way that they went about vocally producing this song from an effects standpoint, from a line distribution standpoint, and from the choice of adding ad-libs almost in the way that rappers add ad-libs in between the phrases of their bars. I like that a lot. Oh, okay, let's start with V's part, because we are going to touch on the little sugar transition as we go back into that. So the way that they stripped back all the production and then just allowed a very it was the bass line and I think like a pad. It was very minimal production wise, and it was EQ'd in a way that it was very minimal frequency wise, and so it really let, when he came in, he like really rang through. And then on top of that, they added like a little Talkbox section, which is dope. I love Talkbox, as you guys know. There's a Talkbox in Butter. Was it Butter? Was it Dynamite? One of their English singles, they have a Talkbox in it, and I thought it was super dope when they used it then. You guys told me that they had used it before in the past in the comment section of that video. But yeah, I think Talkboxes are super cool. They're not used that often in modern pop music. They're starting to make a slight resurgence with like this whole retro wave that pop is on, and Talkboxes are very popular. Talkboxes are very popular effects from the 70s and from the funk movement, and so as you do retro stuff, you start to touch on elements that were used in like older generations. You then start to incorporate some of those things into modern music, but for the most part, they're not that common. And so anytime I hear them, I get excited. I enjoy them a lot, and I thought it was really cool how they brought that in during the section where it was just V's like raspy, deep vocals with that like very muted, minimal production. It's an interesting vibe right there. Okay, so before RM's rap verse, he says, I think he says stop, and then before Suga's rap verse, he actually says Suga, which, though, again, those are both short S starting words. But when he said Suga before his verse, it just made me think of the Migos. Like, they're infamous for that. Before they come in, they will basically sound off on who's rapping. It allows listeners to know who's who if you don't know just off their voices. Offset, raindrop, drop top. Like, it's a very, like, right before he comes in, you always know who it is. And so Suga doing that I thought was really cool. He also did like a little whisper as well, which is not only, like, I guess, like, sexy or whatever, but it's interesting from a dynamic standpoint, because as V's, I don't know, what is that, like a post-chorus section or something? I don't know, whatever you want to call V's section that he had where the music broke down, it starts to slowly, the filter on that starts to open up, so the frequencies start to come back in of the song. It's gradual, but it's happening for sure. As a part of that, the music comes back when Suga starts to rap, and Suga's first vocalizations are softer coming into his verse. Like, the music is slowly growing coming into his verse, and I think that's really cool. And it again is a different technique than what they used to come into the section from the chorus, where everybody's singing, all the production is happening, and then boom, it cuts, and then you have V, and, like, it's a different kind of technique that they're using coming into V section, or coming out of V section into Suga section, and I think that's really cool. Huh, that's super interesting. So the interesting line distribution thing that I was talking about before in the last chorus, where they had Jin V, Jin V, Jin V, Jin V, and then it went into Jimin and Jungkook on the chorus itself. This seems to be switched, where now those same sections where it was alternating between Jin and V are now alternating between Jimin and JK. And I would bet that going into the chorus, the section that was sung by Jimin is now going to be sung by Jin, and the section that was sung by Jungkook is now going to be sung by V, which, that's interesting. Like, that's just, it's small, but that's not something that they had to do. They very well could have just done the same thing that they did last time again, but they didn't, and it gives you just a slightly different feel to make it not feel as repetitive. I mean, you have 7 members. Use them. You got 4 singers. Use them. And in this song, they're really using them well, in my opinion, and I think that's really cool. So the use of acoustic instruments in this song is really cool, because the majority of this song is electronic production, but they use, in specific cases like that little bass line right there, or the drum fill into the pre-chorus, or there was like some guitar sections earlier. They just color with a little bit of acoustic instruments. It's not an acoustic performance. It's not a completely electronic performance, and it's not even 50-50. It's mostly electronic with just a touch here or there of acoustic elements, and I think that's really cool. This song is just like very interesting. It does a lot of like subtle creative, it makes a lot of subtle creative choices that I find interesting, like the line distribution, as I already talked before, the elements of the acoustic and electronic instruments, the choice of how they choose to transition between the fullness of certain sections and the I don't want to say emptiness, but like the less full, more minimal ad-libs and things of that nature. The song just does a lot of very subtle, cool things, in my opinion. That's really cool. In the background there, you can hear someone who may be Jimin, but I'm not 100% sure on that, to be honest, is doing a very long run paired with the Talkbox section, and it's not as noticeable. It sounds like just an instrument in the background until they start to change notes on it, and that's really cool. Dope. Okay, so yeah, that was really cool. I'm not sure how those two songs connect, to be honest. I was reading the lyrics as the song was going through. I didn't touch on the lyrics too much because I know you guys like sometimes have issues with the translations of color-coded lyrics and they're not always the best, but I was reading the lyrics to that song. Not really sure how those two connect, but I'm sure we will see, or you guys will explain it to me in the comment section down below. As far as the song itself, I really like that song. Very chill vibe, but there is a lot going on at any given moment in that song. A lot of instruments, a lot of different vocal layers, ad-libs, freaking effects, all types of stuff panned different ways. There's a lot going on in the song, even though it's a super chill, vibey kind of song. I think that's cool. Overall, really great song. I knew it was going to be a great song. That's why I'm doing this in the first place. That was the whole point of this video. Hopefully you guys were entertained. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, after this video, my next video will be the reaction to the live of DIMPLE and Pied Piper together. I guess they perform them together when they perform them, and you guys are super excited about that. So that will be my next video. Definitely make sure to subscribe not to miss that, and I'll be seeing all of you guys here on the channel next time. Have a great day.